After some significant debate, our founding fathers thought it wise to amend the Constitution they were drafting back in 1789 with a collection of guarantees meant to safeguard our political freedoms. They called it the Bill of Rights and hoped it would secure our freedom of religion, of speech, of assembly, amongst important others. What it left out, however, was any provision meant to secure our economic freedom. Joining me today via Skype from his home in San Jose, California to discuss this idea is Scott Myers-Lipton. Dr. Myers-Lipton is a professor of sociology at San Jose State University and the author of Ending Extreme Inequality, an economic Bill of Rights to eliminate poverty. Welcome, Professor.
Thank you, Peter, for having me on today.
You're not talking about an end to inequality, but rather extreme inequality. When you say extreme, what exactly are you aiming to eliminate?
Well, I think importantly, when you look at inequality, Americans have always accepted some level of inequality. It's the price of living in a capitalist society. You know, Franklin Roosevelt and others talked about releasing the creativity of humanity. You know, technological innovation, and all these things are a positive of the capitalist system. However, it has another side to it that can, under certain conditions, lead to not just inequality, but where the top 1% and the top 0.01% start controlling so much of the wealth and of the income. And so what I'm calling for, and what others have called for, is this idea of an economic Bill of Rights, that just as you were saying, we've guaranteed our political rights, but not our economic rights. So we've been playing with what could be solutions, but I really believe this is a potential solution, a long-term solution to the crisis of what I would call extreme or gross inequality, which we have today.
And certainly FDR laid out this vision of this second Bill of Rights. What rights was he asking the government to try and ensure for American citizens?
There are 6 key rights that he was putting forth. One was, and I would say the most important, they're all important, right? Every right is important, but there's probably, for me, you know, the first 2 that he laid out are absolutely necessary. And that's the right to a job and the right to a living wage. And he said this, as did Dr. Martin Luther King after him. Look at capitalism, while it has its positives, it can create high levels of inequality, and it does not provide enough living wage jobs. So if the private sector doesn't produce that, then the public sector should be able to create those living wage jobs. Look at capitalism doesn't produce enough living wage jobs. Therefore, we need to have public works as a response. Anytime public works rise, or anytime unemployment rises above 3%, massive public works should be put forward by the federal government. Well, the government has just turned a blind eye to that, but that is still the law of the land. We have a public works bill. It's called Humphrey Hawkins. We don't have to enact anything, just implement what we already have, public works. So I would say my hope is for the people listening, we need to assert our democracy and take our democracy back and have policies that would get us back to what I would say get us to our economic rights.
For Professor Scott Myers-Lipton, I'm Peter Bermudez for Arlington Public News.